episode of Rift News, the show you likely decided to watch because Riot just released an insane amount of news, and you want to check if you missed anything. And let me tell you, as Riot branched out into multiple games, there is a good chance that you missed a thing or two. Especially since some of the cooler bits of news come from smaller hidden posts. Also, it is possible that you are here because you have something to say on Seraphine. So without further ado, let's have a look at all the madness Riot unleashed. Let's start with what is new in League of Legends. As the worlds continue, so does the event connected to it. Right now, the event only released the Dragon skin line, but if you check the things you can buy with the event tokens, you may notice that there are quite a few hidden skins there. So first, let's have a look at those. Since pumpkin spice lattes are being sold already, it means that Halloween is right behind the corner. And so, during this event, Riot will release multiple skins for the Harrowing. First up, we have Pumpkin Prince Amumu, who really goes back to the classic 2012 styled Halloween skins. Although, as is the modern standard, the spell effects are quite flashy. Also, I can easily say that Amumu has the best chroma skins. They even change his facial expressions. Then there is Bewitching Elise, who looks incredible in her spider form, but most importantly, her spiders are little pumpkins here. And then there is Little Devil Fizz, who follows up in the steps of Little Devil Teemo. Knowing how much people hate Fizz already, this skin is not going to help him. And of course, with this theme, his ultimate just had to be terrifying. As a nice bonus, the chromas change him quite drastically too. But then, besides the Harrowing skins, Riot is also going to release a new batch of Odyssey skins. Which is sad, because despite these skins looking incredible, the game mode didn't return, so we will only have to enjoy them on the Summoner's Rift. Anyway, the first one is Aatrox. In the Odyssey universe, Aatrox is a criminal whose body got corrupted by Aura, which is this golden heavenly power orb. And he now abducts Templars, such as Sona, to suck Aura from his body. In-game, the skin has very unique purple and orange tones. Then there is Odyssey Karma, who is a Templar so powerful, Aatrox believes she is the only one who can heal him. The reason why you can see the Morning Starship in her art is because Karma hired 3 mercenaries to free the Templars Aatrox enslaved, with Sona currently being on the Morning Star. As a cool fact, Galaxy Slayer Z, who also comes from the Odyssey universe, was Karma's lover. Unfortunately, in-game, this skin doesn't really click with me. I think Karma has better ones. But now, let's have a look at the mercenaries. The first one is Kha'Zix, who, just like Malphite, is an alien. You can even see his alien skin underneath the battlesuit. The catch is that Kha'Zix is secretly a double agent, and in reality he is working for Aatrox to bring Karma to him. That's why you can see him kneeling before Aatrox in his art. In-game, to me, this skin looks like the older, cooler brother of Mecha Kha'Zix. The second mercenary is Sivir, who is the leader of their little bounty hunting organization. And in her art, you can see why they are heading for the Morning Star. In-game, the skin isn't really as flashy as you would expect, but it is still definitely one of the more unique skins Sivir has. As a fun fact, remember how in the last patch, when Samira was released, we got this emote and we had no idea who it was? Well, now it's obvious that it was an Odyssey teaser. And finally, we have the best Odyssey skin in this line. The last mercenary, Twisted Fate, who looks like a proper bounty hunter. The only interesting thing his skin's bio mentions is that he is a smuggler who owns a ship called the Wildcard. In-game, Twisted Fate has one unique feature. Unlike in his art, he actually wears a mask which gives him a bounty hunting feel. And bonus points for the little trapped alien. A really cool touch is the card dispenser on his arm. It really makes it feel like he's using gadgets, which is further underlined by the jetpack on his back. Of course, all of these skins, including the old Odyssey skins, got some chromas too. And finally, the last batch of skins Riot will release during the Worlds is the new KDA line teased by Seraphine, the next champion. All of this was teased in Riot's latest event trailer. The name of the line is KDA All Out, and it includes a skin for Ahri, Akali, Evelynn, and Kai'Sa, with Kai'Sa being confirmed to get a prestige skin, even though she already has one prestige skin. With that said, all the KDA skins already have a prestige version, so there's not much Riot can do. But of course, this is where we need to talk about Seraphine, a champion that was primarily revealed through her skin, with the Runeterra version staying hidden until the very last moment. Thankfully, on Twitter, Riot accidentally posted Seraphine's abilities before quickly deleting them. Unfortunately for them, the internet is fast. And so, here are the abilities and her appearance in the game. Unsurprisingly for a modern champion, she has 2 passives. After casting 3 abilities, her 4th ability gets empowered and is cast twice. And every time she casts an ability, she gives her nearby allies bonus damage on her basic attacks. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Nah, it's probably a flashback from past Rise rework. Anyway, her Q fires a damaging skill shot that has an execute effect. So the lower on health the enemy is, the more damage it does. Her W gives her and her nearby allies movement speed, a shield, and if she's already shielded, she also heals her allies. Here it is again! What a strange feeling. Oh well. Her E deals damage in a line and slows her enemies. When the spell is empowered and it is cast twice, if both skill shots hit the enemy, they are also rooted. And should the skill shot hit an enemy that is already rooted by someone else, they get stunned. Okay, no strange feelings this time. And finally, I will let the ultimate speak for itself. It's a massive wave that crowd controls enemies. Oh no! Here it is! Here it is! Yeah! Yep, needless to say, people aren't too happy how similar Seraphine is to Sona. You see, it's fine to borrow one ability from one champion, another ability from a different champion, and copy the ultimate of a third champion. But the issue with Seraphine is that 3 of her 4 abilities and both of her passives were taken from Sona. And that is on top of her being a musical champion, using a floating piece of equipment. So I really do understand why Seraphine is currently memed as Sona 2.0. But now you may be saying, but really only 2 of her abilities are exactly the same as Sona's. Let me show you what's happening here. Passive number 1. After casting 3 abilities, the 4th one is empowered. For Sona, after casting 3 abilities, her next attack gets empowered by her abilities. Passive number 2. After casting an ability, she gives her allies bonus damage on their basic attacks. For Sona, her E gives her allies bonus damage on their basic attacks. Objection! But there is a minor difference between those 2. You are right. The minor difference here is that Seraphine procs the bonus damage her allies get with her own auto attacks. Seraphine's W does 3 things. It gives her allies a shield, exactly like Sona's W. It gives her allies speed, exactly like Sona's E. And it gives her allies a situational heal, exactly like Sona's W. So Seraphine has 3 of Sona's abilities in her W. And we are talking about near perfect replicas. Then, when it comes to her E, Seraphine has a skill shot slow, while Sona has a slow on her attack. So at least there is a minor difference there. And finally, I don't have to mention her ultimate, do I? Do I? I guess I do, because it is exactly the same as Sona's ultimate, except it has increased range for every ally and enemy it hits. So yes, I do understand why people think that Seraphine is a bit less original. Personally, I don't really mind if a champion has similar abilities to other champions. After all, with 150 champions in the game, it is difficult to be constantly unique. But as I mentioned, it's the fact that Seraphine took the majority of Sona's kit, and out of all champions, she had to take the kit of another musical champion. And that's not even us talking about her lore. We'll get there. Now tying this back to KDA, Riot revealed 3 skins for her, which sounded surprising at first, but it quickly got a lot scarier when it was revealed that this is in fact just one ultimate skin. So yes, Seraphine is going to be the first champion to ever have an ultimate launch skin. Which means that just like DJ Sona or Valkyrie Misfortune, this one has different forms. Interestingly, since you can hear her sing in her abilities, I assume that these forms will give her different vocals. Now, adding into the copy controversy. There is no denying that releasing an ultimate skin for a champion which people don't even know yet is risky. And I am afraid that this risk may not really pay off for Riot. Because right now, yes, people are excited for Seraphine, but her kit nor her playstyle really resonate with people. So I wonder how successful the skin will be. Now, to help us understand why did Riot decide to give her an ultimate launch skin, they released a post where they explained it. They talked about how over the months, on social media, people slowly discovered her, and they followed her story of turning from a bedroom producer to the newest collaborator with KDA. This is certainly true. Seraphine's Twitter was a brilliant marketing idea. Although, I personally didn't really feel moved by her story. The turning point in her journey was that she literally just released a KDA cover on Twitter, and Evelyn noticed it. There wasn't really a meaningful journey, so there wasn't much that would hook me in. Strangely though, in the post, Riot doesn't really give us a real reason why Seraphine was a great candidate for an ultimate skin. All they said was that, because her story moved forward, they had the ability to turn it into a skin with deep and compelling fantasy. Which, you know, there are other champions whose story also moved forward. So, if you ask me, it is obvious Riot thought that Seraphine would be super popular, and they wanted to experiment with her. Which is fine, I just wonder how well it will go. Anyway, then the post reveals the 3 different forms and what's the deal with them. Remember how a while ago Riot teased that they are working on something called quest skins? These were supposed to be skins which have parts of it that would be unlocked through missions? Well, that's what this skin is. The first form is Seraphine's indie version. This is what she was like when she started writing songs in her bedroom. You get this skin by paying 3,200 RP. Then, when you complete 3 missions in her questline, you get to the point when she was noticed by Evelyn, and that's this form. And finally, after the next 2 missions, you get to the point when she becomes equal to the rest of the KDA band. Here's the thing though, unlike it was with Misfortune or Sona, here you can't swap between the forms in-game. The post mentions that you can choose which one you want to use in the champion select. So in reality, you are not buying an ultimate skin. You are really just buying 3 skins at once. Which once again is not going to help Riot's little experiment with seeing how popular this skin will get. Honestly, since this skin is lacking the ultimate great in-game tech, it's really going to be the missions that will make or break this skin. If it's going to be just normal missions, for winning games, slaying minions and stuff like that, you bet people won't be happy about buying 3 skins in a pack. But if the missions include something like a comic, which only those who buy the skin can go through, which would show Seraphine's journey through the skin forms, that would be awesome, and it would be worth it, even though someone would definitely post the comic on the internet. So now it really depends on how Riot tackles this. At the end of the post, they also mentioned that from these missions, you will eventually unlock 2 icons, an emote, and a border. Now, things don't get too optimistic when we turn towards the lore. Here things get weird as well. Once you go through her bio, which is something we will do in the next video, it becomes obvious that Riot focused on her KDA version far more than who she is on Runeterra. Don't get me wrong, her bio has some really cool references to the different places in Zone and Piltover. But when it comes to who she is and what she does on Runeterra, it's really lacking emotions or purpose. Her entire bio could be summed up as: she can hear people's thoughts, she can hear how depressed they are, and so she wants to help them by singing. No real motivation, no personal drama, nothing. On top of that, the bio made it feel like she literally just picked up a microphone and instantly became well known. There wasn't really a journey. She's like a Disney princess on Runeterra. Although instead of being mute, she has super hearing. Here is where it becomes obvious that Riot primarily focused on the KDA version, where her story got a lot more depth. Well, relative to her Runeterra story. Which unfortunately gives her the feeling that she only exists to sell the skin. I know this wasn't Riot's goal. They just wanted to release another champion. But after giving the skin a social media account with a story behind it, there is no way to avoid making people think that she's there only to sell KDA merch. But thankfully, besides all of this sketchy stuff surrounding Seraphine's skins and abilities, the team did some amazing things with her presence on the Summoner's Rift. And that is finally utilizing sounds in her gameplay. Have you ever noticed how quiet League really is? I mean, you have this giant complicated machine with valves and stuff. And yet, in-game, he walks like a cat. When it comes to champion ambience, audio was never Riot's priority. That's why it was surprising to see that Riot decided to use sounds for the gameplay. You know how Seraphine gives her allies damage when she uses abilities? Well, there is a way to tell if her allies are in range, besides having a visual indicator. When you get close to someone, you'll hear Seraphine's soundtrack. As long as you can hear it, your passive will reach an ally. And interestingly, from the ally's point of view, they will also hear the music. And I believe this is where the different skins will get different music. But that should finally be it for everything surrounding Seraphine. The last thing we should mention for League are the new ranked rewards. It was revealed that Lucian is this year's victorious skin. However, unlike the previous years, this time, depending on what rank you achieved, you unlock specific rank chroma skins. These are all the variations. Besides this, depending on how well you did in Clash this year, while it worked, you will unlock special icons, logos and banners. And for honor rewards, be ready to receive random ward skins, random emotes and keys. Loads of keys. But that is it for League. So now let's move on to some of the less controversial things, as we go through what is new in Riot's other games. The KDA event will also arrive in Legends of Runeterra, where we are getting a new lab themed around KDA. That's where these flashy animations appear. Together with that, we are also getting two new guardians, the Blue Minion and Astra the Butterfly. And finally, Shyvana was revealed as a new champion for the next expansion, alongside with Soraka and Tahm Kench. A little message from the future. Today they also revealed this amazing Halloween board coming to the game. Then for TFT we got 8 new KDA Little Legends, with 2 Akali Pengus, 2 Kai'Sa Furryhorns, 2 Ahri Hushtails and 2 Evelynn Squinks. That's all the new stuff regarding TFT. And lastly, the trailer played these animations for Kai'Sa and Evelynn. Interestingly, at first I thought that these would be just some random trailer animations. But then I noticed that in the description, Wild Rift was included among all the other games. So suddenly, it becomes clear that not only is this revealing KDA skins for Wild Rift, because these animations match the introductions the champions have there, but this also means that Kai'Sa and Evelynn will be joining the game as champions, because these two weren't even announced yet. What is interesting is that Evelynn was already teased before. The introduction for Tango Twisted Fate used a full model for Evelynn. This made me think that perhaps Evelynn would be joining Wild Rift 2. Why else would they bother to make a complete new model? Well, now that suspicion was finally confirmed. Thankfully, Wild Rift is going to bring the positive vibes of this video back up, as we have more cool news coming from that place. I have to admit that with all the new features Riot is revealing for Wild Rift, I am actually getting quite excited for this game. Recently, they revealed some of the new glorious animations they are adding in for the champions. And they topped it off by some really cool new idol animations too. But recently, they added in a new customization. When you form a group to queue up, when you pick a champion, you get to see them standing in front of a portal. Well, Riot decided to spice it up a bit, and so they gave us the option to pick from different stances for the waiting room. I strongly doubt that this will be paid customization. This will likely be unlocked through gameplay, so it's just amazing to see how much fun the developers have with that game. Funnily enough, in an Apple presentation, yesterday they revealed that Lee Sin would be joining Wild Rift 2. And the last piece of news comes from Valorant. The Act 3 of Valorant literally just started, and with it we got 3 new things. we got a new battle pass with a lot of new weapons, we have a new glacial map, and we have a new British agent called Sky. She has a really cool thematic around animals. She is using jade birds as flash grenades, and she is sending down wolves to hunt her enemies. Aesthetically, I really like how different she looks from everyone else. Riot did a really good job on this one. So if you are interested in this, it is live right now. And that is going to be it for this episode of Rift News. There was a lot of sketchy stuff today. And there were a lot of things that needed a bit of critique. So I just quickly want to say that I am not hating on Seraphine. Riot just tried something new with her, and I am not sure if it worked out the way they hoped. On a lighter note, from her comic we know that Seraphine worked at a coffee shop. So next Halloween, Riot, please give us Pumpkin Spice Seraphine.